Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I got people in here waiting. Okay, this is Shirley with Shirley's Wine Down Tuesday, and I have my wine, and I see there are some people that have gotten their libations ready to go as well. So, cheers. This is Shirley's Threadwork, and I do appreciate you stopping by, everybody. Thank you to everybody that is watching this live stream on YouTube as well as Facebook. And also, I want to thank you and give a shout out to everyone that will be watching the replay. So, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. I got a few people in here. Like I said, I got people with their libations ready to go. Hey, ATB Marketing, thank you for coming back. You're here with your drink and your snack, and you're ready to get this party started. I like that. Kingsbury Craft, how are you doing? You got your drink. And we have Kingsbury, we got Robin, and we have Becky, and we have Carol. And Jenny, you're back. You need to get your wine, so go get it. You got time. Everybody that wants to get their wine, go ahead and get it. Everybody that doesn't drink wine, whatever it is that you drink, even if it's just a glass of water, get it and get settled and get ready for tonight's presentation. And Jenny, welcome back from your trip to Houston. You got to tell us how it went. What did you buy? Did you buy anything? I'm sure you bought something. It had to be. And if anybody else is on here that went to the Houston Quilt Festival, I think is the name of it, in Houston, Texas, give a shout out so we'll know and let us know how it went. Maybe one day I'll get a chance to go as well. So tonight is, and I want to apologize for last week, you guys. I'm so sorry that I missed last week. I was fine. Some people checked in on me to see if everything was okay. Yes, everything was okay. I was not sick or anything like that. I was just duty calls when you work. And because I do have a job, there was some things that occurred that I had to take care of. That was an after hour on my off day, so forth and so on. So that's what happened, and I just had to step away, and I couldn't make the Tuesday night live, unfortunately, because, like I said, something came up that was job related, nothing serious, something that we were expecting, but we didn't realize it was going to fall over into the evening, pretty much is what happened. So anyway, but thank you guys for your concern and everything. And thank you for coming back today. So we're going to do tonight what was supposed to have been done last Tuesday night. And that is week 6 of the series that I have been doing, which is From Stitches to Success. Tonight's topic is Stitching with a Purpose, how embroidery builds community wellness. And kind of looking forward to that because last week, well, Friday, watching Jeanette's live that she did, I was quite moved with her her story that she was telling about the time that she was not doing her live stream because she was spending time with her family, and most importantly her mom and her uncle. And it just kind of made me even feel even more connected to what this topic is about tonight. So that is I'm really glad to do that. Hi Pearl, how are you doing? And you say you love the quilt behind me. Thank you. That is my second quilt ever. And that particular quilt, I cut out all the pieces with an AccuQuilt. When I first got my AccuQuilt, I did that particular. They had a tutorial on there to show you how to use the AccuQuilt and put your first quilt together and all of that. And I was quite proud of the fact that I was able to do it. And it was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. And I got all my points together and everything, and I was quite happy. So that makes my second quilt. The first quilt I did, we showed it when we all kind of did quilts, and I did the reveal. So now I have to do some more quilts, especially since I invested in the Active quilt and some quilt paper. quilting dies, some cutting dies. So got to use my equipment that I paid for. So let me see who's on here popped in. Pearl, of course. Brigman. Hi, how are you? Thank you for stopping by. Let me see. And Carol, you say you just got back from Canada where the weather was great. That's good to know. Uh, to over 6 inches of snow all over the lawn and furniture and garden hoses. So you got snow already? Oh my goodness, girl, it's too soon. It's not too soon where you are, obviously, but snow, ooh, it's still hot here, to be honest about it. Hot, not like summer hot, but it's still warm. I don't know what the temperature today was. This morning when I left, because I had to go to work today for a little while, I'm working on this project, and so I'm having to do extra stuff, and it'll be over with by the end of the month, and I'll be glad of that. But anyway, I had to go in for about 3 hours today. So when I left and went in this morning, it was cool enough to wear a jacket, but by the time I left there, after being there for a half a day, it was warm enough for me not to have to put that jacket on. It was actually kind of hot with the jacket on. So the weather here so far is still warm. And it can stay in the 70s as long as it wants to. You know, the low 80s and the 70s are perfectly fine for me. I'm okay with that. That sounds good with me as far as the temperature is concerned. So let me go ahead and get started. And, you know, like I was saying, this is week 6. Time has flown. And this particular topic really touches me. But I'm going to go ahead and recap just a little bit of what we've already covered and then get into what we have. Week 1, we were doing, let me see, what's the topic for week 1? Did I move my page? Okay, week 1, we were discovering what to make and why, which was embroidery in the age of personalization. So we talked a lot about personalizing products to sell and give away and what have you, and the reason why that's a good idea and why they make annual year-round good thing to sell. Week 2 was pricing without fear, how to value your embroidery work fairly. And I know there were some people, and I don't know if they're on here yet tonight, but there were people that were watching, and hopefully they'll come in or either watch the replay, that was asking questions about pricing, and anybody doing a tutorial or a presentation or what have you on pricing. Well, the week 2 presentation that I did was very much on pricing without fear. So check that out. Week 3, 10 personalized gifts that sell all year round, which went over pretty well. A lot of good things to talk about. Week 4, from hobbyist to shop owner, building confidence to sell your work. That was a week where I had guests to come on. Sean from All Things Sean and Jeanette from Baroka Sewing and Craft were my guests, and they came in and they answered questions and gave out some really good information. So that's another video you might want to check. All of these things are available on my channel, which is Shirley's Threadwork. All you have to do is type in Shirley's Threadwork and it will pop up. And I have all of those things that are on there, plus many, many more. Number 5, when ATB came on, ATB Marketing, and she helped out very much with a lot of good information. We talked about marketing made simple, how to get your embroidery seen. We talked about social media, the importance of all of that, and that also was very good conversation. So tonight, again, is the final week for the series, and that is Stitching with Purpose, how embroidery builds community and wellness. So We're not just talking about fabrics and thread tonight. We're going to be talking about the heart, healing, and how to share our craft and connect with generations. That's how we keep this going because a lot of us are matured people. This is pretty much a matured audience, and I am interested in reaching out to even a younger audience because there are younger people that do sew, quilt, embroider, rhinestone, all of those kinds of things. And it's important to keep the industry up, the hobby up, because it's a lot of fun. And I see I'm doing some freezing here, so I don't know what that's about. Hopefully that will stop. Everything is hooked up, so hopefully that'll stop. You know, it's kind of crazy with, I was told that this part of town that I'm in, the wiring is not good, unfortunately. And that's why it's been a lot of internet issues because I did switch over to a different company and got the highest that they have available as far as bandwidth and everything. And it is plugged directly into the modem. So everything should be broadcasting uh, good. So let's keep our fingers crossed. But anyway, what was I talking about? Connecting with generation and passing the skill on to the next generation, to your children, your grandchildren. How many of you have the opportunity to kind of sit with the younger people in your family or your life and just kind of show them what you do, and are they interested in it? That's something that I wish I had that opportunity. When I was around my daughter, she had absolutely no interest in it. When I was around my granddaughter, she had absolutely no interest in it. So my daughter even said, "Well, Mama, you didn't teach me how to sew when I was a little girl," and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, you never really showed any interest in it. And so we went to a sewing class together and even loaned her my machine, would have given it to her had she shown an interest in it. And she did the project and everything, and she said she liked it. It was fun. But that's as far as it went. She showed no more interest in it. So don't fuss at me because I didn't teach you how to sew. Because again, like I said, you showed no interest in it. And I am aware that everybody does not have the crafting bug. You know, it has to kind of be who you are. Because for me, I've always kind of been involved in some form of crafting. I did start sewing in actually junior high is when we were able to take home economics in the seventh grade. And so 7 through 12, you went to home economics every year. That was part of the curriculum. You did one semester of sewing and one semester of cooking, one semester of sewing, one semester of cooking every year from junior high through high school. That was a requirement where I went to school. And the guys, I know it's sexes and everything, they went to shop. So they learned how to do woodworking and mechanic working and things like that, working with their hands and everything. So that was, I think, a good thing. By the time my children started school and was, up in the grades, they had mixed up the home economics and wood shopping where girls and boys did both. Because I remember my son, he did some sewing. He made some items for me where he actually sewed, and luckily I had a sewing machine, so he learned a little bit at home. And he also did some woodworking, and he made some items for me as well from his woodworking shop classes. So I really like the fact that they integrated it and made it less sexist, and they just said, okay, let girls and boys learn the same thing. But now I don't think they do anything anywhere near that kind of stuff, which, the art is being lost, especially things that you do with your hands. Everything is done on a phone and a computer. Nothing is done with your hands to make beautiful things. And, in order to get your loved ones involved, they have to kind of grow up with it with grandma at home, kind of, sort of. So, Robin, you were saying your granddaughter is very interested in it and likes to help you. That's wonderful. And you're teaching her counting cross stitches right now. That's perfect. Kingsbury Craft, you said not interested. 4 girls and 1 boy, and they all grown up, and they didn't have a clue. Like mine, didn't care. And Val, hi, how are you doing, Val? You said you bought your daughter a machine, and she has zero interest. That's just the way it is. I don't know what it is about these younger people nowadays. They really don't have an interest, and maybe we were kind of forced to have an interest in the crafting arena because we did have to do things with our hands. We did have to take on economics and what have you. So you were integrated into sewing and stuff like that at a young age. Maybe that's what it is. So ATB Marking, you said all boys and girls took home economics in the 7th grade all year. Then in 8th grade, we all had to take shop all year. Okay. And Val, said you started with your daughter when she was 7, and still again she had no interest. I see. But anyway, we need to, if at all possible, try to find somebody younger, whether it's a relative or not, that would be interested in carrying on the craft. Because what's going to happen to all of our wonderful machinery when we pass on? We can't pass it down to them because they don't want it. They're not going to do a doggone thing with it. My daughter could not tell you how to turn on half of the machines I have. Not even though she has seen me use my embroidery machine, the big one, the little one, she has seen me use my sublimation machine and my heat press. She's seen me do rhinestones. She's seen me do sewing. But as far as her being interested in learning how to do this, Mom, show me, none of that. None of that. And B. Brigman, you said too much distraction now for kids and they want instant gratification. That is true. That is so sad. And hi, Sean, Go Savvy Designs. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. Uh, Let me see what other comment. Hi, Pretty Eyes. How are you? Okay, so community, we're talking about what does community wellness mean? It's simply community wellness isn't just about exercise or eating right. It's about belonging, purpose, and connection. All the things that embroidery brings. It's an emotional and beneficial crafting situation. Whereas when people get together and do some of this around each other and with each other. And you really don't have to physically be there to be part of the community. So it's really important. Like what we're doing now is so important to me. Hopefully it's important to you guys. What I do with the Zoom meeting that we have every Wednesday is so important. All of the YouTube videos and channels and lives that we all participate in and watch, that's our community. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. That's how we develop friendships and camaraderie and what have you. The Zoom group, we've been with each other for over 2 years now. Actually, this is our anniversary month for us starting our Zoom group. It started 2 years ago when we made our Christmas tree skirt, and we've gone strong for 2 years now. And I consider every one of the women that are a part of the Zoom group as a personal friend because, like I said, we've been hanging out with each other for 2 years. And several of the women, I've actually had the opportunity and blessing to be able to meet them face to face, which is also something that is very fun and gratifying. And we talk about embroidery and sewing and stuff like that, but we also talk about life as well. So it's not just that. It is a community and it is caring and it is belonging. And there is an emotional benefit. I mean, all of us have had some type of you know, um, something that may not been so good that has happened throughout these 2 years. And we've been there for each other to give our well wishes and blessings and prayers and condolences and all of that stuff that's been appropriate for whatever may have happened. It may not have been anything but a short illness, the cold, the flu, or something like that, that we all kind of gathered around each other. Or we've also had people that had someone in their that they knew and loved that passed away, and we were able to share our condolences and feelings and all of that. So those things are very important. It brings us together. It reduces the loneliness and isolation. It builds confidence and patience, and all of this is done while creating joy through the handmade items and gifts and things that we make. Not everybody sells on the regular. I think all of us have sold something that's in, you know, even watching tonight or part of the Zoom group and everything. We all have been able to sell some of our wares, as you may say. And to be able to do that and talk about it and discuss, what should I charge and why should I charge and how should I make, all of those kinds of things are very, very important. And that is something that we can do as a group, even like the live stream that we're doing now. And the question is, LP, you're asking how many people are in the Zoom group? Um, mm, I would say it's at least 10 of us that are regular, and total of all that have participated off and on, I would say it's pretty close to 15. Pretty close to 15. But it's about 10 of us that have stuck with it and pretty much been regular and coming every week for the 2 weeks. But as far as those that have come and left or came and they're, I hear from them, but they can't come in and they're still part of the group. I don't take anybody out of the group unless someone says, don't contact me anymore, take me away. And I haven't had anybody to say that, because everybody's welcome to, that's part of the group, is welcome to come when it works for them. If you want to participate in a project that we were working on, that's fine. If you just want to sit on the sideline and root for us, that's fine as well. If you just want to call up and say hi or stop in and say hi, I miss you guys, this is what's going on in my life right now, I'll come back when I have some free time. All of that is welcome. So like I said, with that being said, the group of people, I would say, is close to about 15 of us. But again, as far as those that are the diehard regular people, I would say it's a good strong 10 of us that just, almost every Wednesday night, we're there. Even if you can't stay, even if they come in late. We've had people that come in an hour late, 15 minutes late, 10 minutes late. We've had people stay an hour, stay 30 minutes, whatever. It just depends upon what life allows them to do, but they're still part of the group. And when they have the opportunity and the desire, they participate in the sewing project, our embroidery project that we have, and that's how it goes. Hi Danielle, how you doing? And Danielle's part of our group as well. Um, so a good example of some of the places and things that we can reach out to as far as the community wellness over and above what we do on YouTube and live channels, embroidery circles at senior citizen centers, churches or neighborhood craft nights, grandmothers teaching their granddaughters, as we just talked about. Those are things that we can do to just kind of continue this community vibe and community outreach to keep the hobby or the craft of, and it doesn't have to be embroidery. A lot of people love quilting. A lot of people love crocheting and knitting. I don't crochet, I don't knit. I'm just now learning how to quilt. But it's so many people that you can reach out to that do those things, that love them. And every stitch can be a little act of love. And when we stitch together, we create something much bigger than a project. And we create a sense of belonging. And that is the true essence of this community wellness and what it means. It is a true sense of belonging. Um, Back to what I was mentioning earlier about the live that Jeanette did last week, and she was talking about everything that she did with her dad, and I felt so close to her. It made me um, just feel a closeness of her being with her mom, being with her family, talking about the experience when her father left. And we were watching her when she was going through all of that. Even the fact that when she went to visit her niece, and for those of you, not niece, her cousin, and I don't know who all watched the live last week. I know most of you watch her as well as me. And she talked about that she gifted her cousin a machine, a sewing machine, and now she is sewing. So, and then Jeanette is now sewing. She has dedicated a whole room in her home to sewing when she was just mainly doing embroidery. Now she has expanded since she has the time, and she's wanting to learn how to sew and actually make quilts and what have you. So the community is growing. Her sister Nancy does a lot of sewing and quilting and everything. So she doesn't do as much embroidery as Jeanette does. So they're sharing their love for the craft, and they are sharing everything, and that's growing their community. And so it just really touched me to hear her tell how she spent her time away from us and being with her mom and all of that kind of stuff. And even going to the expo in Fredericksburg, and her and her sister and her mom went there, and they took classes together, and she helped her mom do it. And just the pictures that she showed, it just really was such a warm feeling. And that's not the reason why I did this presentation, because it was already planned, but it just kind of added more importance to what I'm talking about, because that was just a perfect example of what the crafting community is like and what that feeling is. Because I watched the show all the way through, and I'm in bed watching the thing, laying up in bed and doing my texting on my phone and watching her on the big TV and everything. And I just felt so connected. I felt so connected, and it was a good feeling, because I remember just there with a smile on my face practically the whole time that I was listening to her. It just was a good feeling. So I hope that you guys are involved in something somewhere with somebody in your community. And when I say community, it doesn't necessarily have to be like neighborhood. Your community is anything that you have affiliated yourself with, be it just your YouTube friends, because like I said, many of us watch various people on YouTube, and some of us have been lucky enough to actually meet people. And even though we're watching you on TV and it's maybe not a live thing, if you have the opportunity to watch a live and chat with them and everything, it's almost like you're actually talking to them directly, and you do have that feeling. When I'm looking at the people in my chat list, I'm recognizing names. So it's like a family. I know who these people are. They come back every week. So it makes me feel committed to you guys. And so when I don't show up or whatever, I feel bad about it, because I feel like I've let you down, because you expect for me to be there, because that has become a routine. We do develop routines and stuff in these communities, and the expectation is there. So how embroidery builds community. Again, group stitching projects like we do with the Zoom. Fundraisers. I know Leslie has been involved with her church. They do a lot of sewing, and not necessarily fundraising, but they do a lot of donation when she's on the usher board at her church, and they plan every year a project of things that they're going to make. and donate to various places and when they visit for their convention. And somebody mentioned about Leslie not being on tonight. She is on vacation for the next 2 weeks. So she's not here tonight, and she won't be here next Tuesday night. And I hope that she's having a lot of fun in South Africa. So she's on vacation right now. Um, Teaching and mentoring, sharing knowledge with those who've never tried to use a machine. Jeanette is doing some teaching in Virginia where she lives, which is really, really nice, and she's enjoying it. And social media communities like this one, Facebook groups, YouTube lives, online quilt alongs, like our Zoom sewing and embroidery projects. All of those kinds of things are how we build communities. Embroidery can be a bridge. It connects people who may never have met, but we're meeting now all through thread and creativity. When I first started embroidering in 2020, I didn't know a soul. I didn't know anybody that had an embroidery machine. I didn't know how to use my embroidery machine. And I connected initially when I started watching Eve at the Baby Booty, and have a very good girlfriend to this day. We met through Eve's online group, just talking back and forth to each other, shared phone numbers, and just started talking to each other. And we've been friends ever since. That was in 2020. We never even saw each other. And I just happened to move from Florida to Maryland where she lived. And that was the first time we ever physically met each other. But we had already become friends for over 2 years before that happened. So it's just, and we're still friends. Now I moved away, but I just got off the phone with her. So, you develop relationships. You don't know how these relationships are going to develop and everything like that. And it's wonderful to even know that you can have friendships like that or develop friendships like that simply because you have a like mind of what it is that you like doing. Two people enjoy doing the same thing. Stitching also can be a therapy and emotional healing. Have you ever thought about when you felt like you wanted to just get away? It's just a little bit too much heavy on your weight on your shoulder for whatever life is life in you. We all go through that stuff. It could be health wise, finance wise, family wise, husband wise, whatever. It could just be a weight on your shoulder where you just feel like I just need a break. I need to get away. And then you go into your zone, whatever space that you have available, whether you have a dedicated room, a dedicated corner, or whatever you're able to have in your own personal space where you can actually go in that place, maybe close the door, pull out some fabric, grab a design or something, and just forget about everything because you're focused on whatever it is that you're making. Be Brigmas as you solve life's problems crafting. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes when you are having a bad day or you just, like I said, you need a mental health break, and we're able to get that mental health break by doing something we love doing and creating something beautiful. You go into your room and you just get involved. Or if you are a knitter or a crocheter and you just find yourself a nice little comfortable corner and you get your crochet needles and your yarn and you just block everything out. And next thing you know, you've created a beautiful Afghan cap, sweater, scarf, whatever it is that you're working on. Just you zone out. That's mental health. Everybody doesn't have the opportunity. They're not blessed with a hobby that they can do alone that takes your mind away from whatever that issue is, and you're able to focus on something that while you're working on it, and when it's completed, it's going to have give you joy and beauty. Because even if you mess something up, your mind is on fixing it. Your mind is not on the fact that you got the light bill that just came out, and you wonder how the devil did that light bill get so high. Because you in there someone, that's what it is. But whatever your issue may be, your mind is not focusing on that anymore. Your mind is focusing on whatever your project is, and all of those things go away. I know I do it. I do it a lot. A lot of times when I'm having back pain or whatever it is, I said, let me go in here and do something. And I'll come into my room. And the next thing you know, I'm so busy doing whatever it is that I put my mind to, I'm not even feeling the pain or thinking about the pain or anything else that was bothering me before I came in there, because I've gotten focused on what I'm doing and looking forward to the next step and the next step and the next step until I'm done with the project. And then once you're done with the project, you're proud of yourself because you did it, especially if it's something you may not have ever done before. And you want to know, oh, how is this going to turn out? Can I do it? Can I make it look as good as the next person did? And so that helps with your mental um, wellness, mental and emotional healing. It's a stress reliever. It slows the mind. It encourages you to focus and become mindfulness. It feels productive even on hard days. And many of the people like myself started doing our stitching and everything during the pandemic. And it says it was done for comfort and peace, and it stayed with us because it soothed us. Now, a lot of people didn't necessarily do it for comfort and peace. They did it because they wanted to make some money, because everybody was making masks and what have you. But for me, that was not what got me started, but it certainly did move me through it. But what it also did, I didn't spend every waking moment working on my machine making a mask to sell. I spent my time working on my machine learning how to embroider, because the more I did it, the more I enjoyed it, and the more I wanted to learn about how to make something else and make something else and make something else. And it just grew and grew and grew. And the more I did, the more I wanted to learn, because I wanted to keep getting better and better and better. So it really helped me as far as an emotional journey, a stress relief. You know, I was working full time, and didn't have as many aches and pains then that I do now. So I was able to come home from work and hit my machine and do this and do that, and just kept going and going. And I really loved it. And I still do. Also, it says, think about how your own stitching has helped you through something that may be grief, where you're grief stricken, you have anxiety, loneliness, any of those things like that. And you just go into your stitching, into your room. And like I said, it clears your mind. And B. Brigman says, that's so true. I relate to that old Calgon Take Me Away commercial. Exactly, exactly, exactly. You just get into it, and your mind is focused on something positive. It's positive because you're looking for the end goal. You're looking to make something that you know that's going to turn out, and it's going to put a smile on your face, because you know it's going to be something pretty. If you're making something for somebody, and I have to tell you, for me personally, I have two feelings. When I'm making something that I'm selling, if someone has placed an order and I'm making it, I'm happy because I'm able to, people appreciate my craft, my work, and they're willing to pay me to do it. So I'm happy about that, and I'm usually happy about how it turns out and all of that. That's one feeling. The other feeling is, which I think is even more compelling for me, is when I'm making something for someone as a gift. I enjoy that because I'm thinking to myself how they're going to like it. How are they going to enjoy it? Is it something that they're going to really want to use? And when I give it to them and the response that I get is so touching because most people that I know, especially the ones that I have gifted things to, they don't really do any crafting stuff. They don't know the process or anything like that. They know what they've seen in stores and what have you. And then when you make something that may look even prettier than something that they bought before, it really touches them. And it's almost like, oh my goodness, this is so gorgeous. This is beautiful. And thank you so much. And it makes you feel really good. And it doesn't have to be anything that's big or smash. I mean, it could be like a mug rug or a cup that's been personalized. When I first started uh, sublimating, I made a lot of cups and tumblers. And I haven't sold many of those and really didn't get into it too much to sell. Most of those things were gifts. And people were so surprised that I could actually make something so personal because I personalized the stuff that I sublimated, either with their names or a phrase or something that just meant something between the two of us. Like my girlfriend that I'm working for now, I remember, and she still has that cup and won't let nobody mess with it, where I did her a cup and I had on there a picture of two people, and it was put my name on one and her name on the other, and we were side by side with our little drinks and stuff, and it said something about friends forever, whatever. And she cried. It was such a special gift to her. And when I made it, it was a special gift because it was connecting us together, that we will always be friends and together. And this cup is the two of us together at all times. And so, people, you'll be surprised how a little something like a cup could be so special to people. You just don't think about it, but it is things that we make and the things that we give away to people. So stitching across generation, inviting the younger crowd. Now that's our challenge. As we were talking about initially, getting some of our younger people involved. I personally don't know how. I have invited every young person that I've been around in my family to come watch me do this, do that. I can't even get my husband in here. He ain't even young. He'll come in here and stand around and look and look. I'll show him what I done. Oh, that's nice. That's wonderful. That's beautiful. But I said, you want to learn how? Oh, no, 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 no. That's too much for me. I'll show him some of the stuff that I'm doing. And the first thing on his mind is too complicated. And that's kind of what my daughter told me. That's too complicated. And I guess it does look complicated. A lot of people get their machines the first time they ever get their machine, whether it's a multi-needle machine or a single needle machine, and they just look at it like, what did I just do? I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. I've seen on Facebook just recently where someone bought a machine, don't know what kind of machine it was, and she didn't say exactly at the time, it's pretty vague, but she said she bought a machine. And is there anyone that she could hire to show her how to use it? Because she didn't have a clue. And I can relate to that because the very first embroidery machine I ever owned was a company gift we had where you could accumulate points or whatever and you could buy things. And I accumulated enough points and I selected a Singer Fortura embroidery machine. And I have to admit, I never used it. Never used it. I kept that machine. I've had that machine over 20 years. I kept that machine. I think I plugged that machine up 3 times. I didn't know what to do with it. I had no clue. And I didn't have anybody to show me, tell me. I did stop by a shop, a embroidery dealership. I don't even know if it was a singer. I don't remember. I just know it was embroidery. And went into that shop and told them what I had and asked them if they could help me. And they looked at me like I had 6 heads. And the answer to that question was no. Nobody offered to help me, advised me how to get help, gave me any suggestion, nothing. And I honestly did not know where to start. I didn't know what anything was. And this was before YouTube. This was before you could go on YouTube and find stuff out. And I regret to this day that I had all of these, I knew what the machine could do based upon what I read. And I had all of these wonderful ideas in my head about how I was going to learn how to do this, that, and the other. But knowing how to start or where to start, I did not know. And I kept that machine until 2021 when I left Florida and was coming here and I was packing and I finally got rid of it. And I had mentioned on my channel that I had the machine, and someone suggested, "Oh, that's a good machine. That's antique. Don't get rid of it." Blah blah blah. And so I took it. By that time I had an idea of what an embroidery machine was and what it could do and everything. So I got it out of storage, brought it in the house, plugged it up, and realized I didn't have half of the equipment that went with it. I didn't have the hoops. I just didn't have anything to make it work. And I said, there's no need of me dragging this thing around year in and year out, year in and year out. And I just dumped it. So that was, I could have learned how to embroider 20 years ago because I had a wonderful machine. It was an expensive machine. But back then, I think the machine was valued at $800 some odd dollars, which was really expensive at that time. For an embroidery machine that did all the things that that particular machine was supposed to do. But that was such a loss for me. But it reminds me of what's going on with people now that have machines and they don't know what to do. They don't have a clue how to turn it on or nothing. Kind of how it reminds me again when desktop computers first came out. And the first time I ever had a desktop computer, I didn't have a clue. But luckily, there were more people available that were willing to teach you how to use your computer versus how many people were out there and around ready to teach you how to use an embroidery machine. So I did get the opportunity to learn how to use my desktop computer pretty quickly. So that was not something that was wasted, thank goodness. But I tell you, my Futura Singer embroidery machine was a total waste. And I hate that so bad, but such is life. And B. Brigman, you said that's terrible. Glad you didn't let that discourage me. Well, it did discourage me because that was back in, I would say it had to have been probably 2003 or 4 or something like that. And I didn't touch another one until 2020. So yeah, that was a huge discouragement. I didn't do anything. I had it, but I never touched it. And Pearl, you say you bought your first embroidery machine early in 2000, and there was no YouTube, and you couldn't find anyone to help you, so you relied on books. I didn't even move to that. If I was still working, I was still in pharmaceutical sales, I was still pretty busy. So I really I didn't have a lot of extra time either. So I didn't do the research. I didn't do what I did when I decided to get into embroidery in 2020. I did my homework in 2020. So that's the reason why I was able to go forward with it because I did my homework. I made up my mind I wanted a machine that I could use because I was kind of thinking about the waste that I had made. And I said, obviously, I wanted to learn how to embroider those many years ago. So I still had that desire. So before I bought a machine, I did research. I bought books. And they had YouTube. I looked at channels. So by the time I got my SE 1900, my flat bed single needle machine, I knew how to work it. I turned it on and I pretty much went on. And even when I got my 10 needle machine, I was doing caps the first week I got my machine because I had done the research and I had looked at the videos and I had looked at unboxings. I had looked at threading the machine and do this and do that and so forth and so on. So by the time I actually had physically had the machine to do the work, I was ready to do the work. So I didn't have a machine come in my house looking at, I don't know what to do with it. No, I brought the machine in my house, plugged it up, turned it on, went to work. So I said I wasn't going to make that mistake anymore. Was not going to make that mistake anymore. And ATB marketing said, with some people, you have to use the right buzzwords. If you ask if they want to learn, the word learn seems like a word that they're going to have to work. And if they have to work, of course, they're not going to do it unless you're going to pay them. And at that particular time, that did not cross my mind because I definitely would have paid them had they said, yeah, they could show me. I just want to know how to turn the thing on and get it to work. That's what I want to know. They wouldn't even do that. And you said they will say no. Find a way to make it fun for them. Use the right buzzwords and your experience on it and what I know as a salesperson. You're right. You do, you really do. And I was a salesperson at the time, but I wasn't looking at them giving me anything where I could convince them, which I should have just turned on my sales charm. But I was just so put aback when I walked in there with the reception that I received. I just felt like I had walked in the wrong place, and I did not go back into that place ever because it was obvious I wasn't welcomed. And don't ask me why. I don't even remember the name of the place. I don't remember what kind of machines they had in there. I mean, maybe they didn't do Singer machines and they didn't know how to do it or whatever the situation. But I just felt like they just felt like I had committed a cardinal sin. So I got my behind up out of there and never went back and never pursued it with anybody else. So that was my fault. And Carol said, if it was not for YouTube, I would have not been able to go very far at all in my embroidery venture. I agree with you 100%. I learned on YouTube University everything that I know about embroidery. I have learned from somebody that's been on YouTube or the books that I read, because I did get some books and I read several books. I still have the books. I still refer to the books. I learned the terminology. I knew the do's and the don'ts and all of that kind of stuff, the basics, before I ever started embroidering. Because once I made up my mind, this is what I was going to do, then I did the research. And that's pretty much how I do things. Even when I got ready to do my Etsy shop, I literally bought books and read them from back to cover, from front to back, and every word for word, 2 books before I even set out to do it, because I wanted to know what I was getting into, so it wouldn't be a big surprise. And it still, I won't say it was a surprise, but it turned out to be harder than, maybe harder is more challenging than I had expected, because it's a lot. It is a lot to keep up an Etsy shop. It's a lot to even get it started. But it is what it is. So, but that's just kind of how I am. I'm one of these people. I don't mind doing the research. If the research is going to help me be successful in whatever I'm doing, that's what I will do. And so when I see people asking questions, and I know everybody's not like me, but when I see people asking questions about how do I start or stuff like that, the first thing come to mind is, did you not check this out before you bought that machine? Did you not do any research before you bought the machine so you have at least an idea of what to do to turn it on, where the knob is, what the knob does? And if you look at some of my older videos on YouTube, on my channel on YouTube, I emphasize and stress continuously, read your manual, read your manual, read your manual. Now I know some of the manuals you don't understand what it is you're reading, because it can be very industrial. But if you don't read some of your manual, you're not gonna know. Get that front page and look at what the different parts of your machines are, what the knob is, what everything that you buy nowadays, especially electronic, they have pictures and names pointing towards every part of that piece of equipment, so you know what it is and what it does. That's number one. You're going to know where the on and off button is. You need to know that. You got a knob on the side. It tells you what the knob on the side is for. It tells you what a presser foot is. You let it, it's got that information in your manual at the very front. You need to at least look at that, so when you get it, you know how to turn the machine on. It tells you how to thread the machine. I mean, all of that stuff is in your manual. Now, the manual can get even more complicated as you read through it, because it'll start telling you, all the different stuff it tells you. That's when you start looking to see, is there a video? Is there a video, Carol? You said you're a visual learning, so video tours are very helpful. I'm the same way. If I'm going to make something I never made before, the first thing I do is look and see if they got a video on it. Now, if they don't have a video, that's not going to completely deter me from doing that project. But I'm going to read the instructions and look at the instructions, and most of them have some pretty decent pictures with the instructions. And look at that and see if it makes sense to you. Can you figure it out? And keep looking at it and reading it till it makes sense to you before you start with the project. But my first thing is there a video? And then you start realizing there's certain designers that you want to gravitate towards, with that you're going to be getting their designs or whatever, because they do have videos, tutorials for you. If they're going to sell me a design to make a whatever, a zipper, in the hoop zipper bag, or a pouch, or a tote, or a pillow, or whatever it is I'm trying, Christmas tree skirt, whatever it is, did you do a video to show me how to do it so I can make this successfully? And if the question is yes, then I'm more apt to buy your product, because I feel like I'm going to be more successful. Or do you have good instructions? There are some people that I bought designs from that have instructions, and you would think you're reading a foreign language, because you're still reading the instruction, you scratching your head like, what? Huh? I'm supposed to do what? And when you run across that, maybe you shouldn't buy anything else from them, because you already know that's going to be a tough job for you to do. But if they're really, really good, they're going to give you good instructions. That reminds me of when we were doing our jean purses, where we went to the Goodwill or wherever, got old jeans and we upcycled them and we all made some type of a purse out of it. And I know at least two or three of us found instructions on YouTube where they were making these jean purses, and a person, I believe, I don't know where the person's from. I think it's Asian. The person is Asian, I think, but there was no sound other than soothing music. There were no words. There was no verbal instruction, simply finger pointing and like cut and sew and measure. They were just simply using sign languages and pointing. And believe it or not, that was good enough to do the project, because they did a very good job showing you step by step by step by step. Now, did we have to watch it over and over? I know I did. I'd have to watch it over and over again just to make sure I got that right step done. And she did what? Back that up. Okay, all right. She pivot here, those kinds of things. But we were able to do it. Again, visual learning, watching someone do it. Watching someone do it. So that's one reason why I got to get back into my tutorials that I have done in the past. I hadn't done it in a while, and I feel bad about it. So I got to get back into it, because I know I'm a visual learner, and I know a lot of people are visual learners. And when you watch me, I want to be able to show you how to do something that I learned how to do, because I like doing new stuff and challenging things. Um, what are you all saying? B. Brigman said also Craftsy helps with how to videos too. They do. They have some good ones. And ATV marketing, I don't have any equipment and I have no intention of getting any at this point. Okay. But I still research and learn, because they can change later. But if not, now I have the knowledge and the knowledge to help others. Exactly. And you say you outsource everything. And you sell business to business, just making it clear. That's fine. That is fine. Knowledge is key. And I'm the type of person, the I like learning. I've always liked learning. And I like to be able to provide some type of educational value to the people that watch me. That's why I try very much to ask people what it is they're interested in learning or hearing about. So when I select a topic or something, I feel like the audience is going to get something out of it, because it was something that they were interested in. And I don't have any problems with anybody that has useful knowledge in sharing, because nobody knows everything. And I truly believe that people can help each other. And I encourage that all the time when we're having our conversations on my live. If I talk about something and I misspeak, I have no problem being corrected. And when I bring up a topic or a question or whatever, and I love for people to ask questions. And if you know the answer, answer the question, because I will be more than happy to read it off in the chat. I have no problem with that. I've always done that because I know how I am in general. If I'm in a situation where questions are being asked and I know the answer to it, I will answer the question if I have the opportunity, because I like to share what I know. And I don't know everything, obviously, but if I happen to know the answer to a question, why not share it? And that's how I feel about anybody that watches. If a question comes up and you know the answer, or you know how you do it, or what your comfort level is, share that. That's how we learn how to do different things. You can, there's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. You learn how to do something one way, and then you find out there's another way that's better, or somebody does it that's a little bit more efficient, or what have you. And that is all part of our community that we're talking about right now. This is a community type venture that we do, where everybody can learn something from somebody. We can share, and we do have the camaraderie, and that part is very important. And just like Robin said, thank you so much. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button. Appreciate that. And the subscribe and the notification bell. Um, so we were talking about the younger generation, and kind of got off topic, mainly because I honestly don't know what to do with that. Um, it says keep, working with younger people keeps the tradition alive. That's true. It brings new technology and creativity, and it ensures embroidery stays relevant in the digital age. Now, I tell you what could help. I have not yet been to like the Impression Expo, or the Houston Quilt Shop, or some big, especially the Impression Expo specifically, because they have so many companies there that have their new and improved innovative machines. When I watch the people that go there and they video and they put up the little, like John Deere is really good at that. He'll go in, he'll video, and he'll talk to different vendors and what have you, and he'll put up some demos of some of the newer machines and stuff. And I look at it and I'm like, wow, oh wow, that could be something that could generate an interest in a younger crowd, because it's technology, and the younger crowd they're into technology, and bells and whistles and buttons that you push and all of that stuff. I like that stuff too. I have to be honest about it. I love something that's got a bunch of bells and whistles. I've read where people say I like to keep it simple. I don't need all these bells and whistles. All I need to do is the regular stuff. For me, the more bells and whistles you have, the more smile you're gonna see on my face, because I love pushing buttons. Oh, that did you push that button? It does that. Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. Push. Oh my goodness, you can do that with that button. That's how I am. That's me. If I can figure out how to learn how to do something, and all I have to do is push a button, you have my attention. I'm thinking that with the younger people, if we can get them to follow us to some type of convention, expo, or whatever that has the latest and greatest machines, that even those machines cost $1 zillion million. But just the thought that if I learn how to do this, look at what I can do. Look at the money I can make. That's another thing. Younger people are always looking at how can I make money and how much with the least amount of work. So getting involved with those new and improved equipments that are coming out. And I mean, I've seen some very astonishing things. Again, most of the things that wow me, I know are extremely expensive. Never will have it, because even if I had the money, I don't have the room or the need for it. But the mere fact that a machine can do that, the machines that do the Chanel stitching, they, I don't know if that was at the expo last year or this year, where John Deere showed where they had a machine that was so automatic. If I remember correctly, it was changing the thread and the design and doing everything with the push of the button, and I mean, even more than that, I can't even explain, because I can't remember the exact stuff that it did. But it just blew my mind that it was able to do that. Yeah, it just totally took all the guesswork out of embroidery, and the result was just astonishing. It was absolutely beautiful. And if you could afford to have a machine like that, just think of all of the beautiful work that you could do and the money you could make, because you could sell that stuff. It was beautiful, the outcome. Um, HEB marketing, right? They take their latest and greatest to the show. Some even take equipment and reveal new equipment 1 or 2 months before the official release. Yes, I've seen that as well. They go as far as taking the prototype, and that is I guess what really astonishes me, because like I said, I love bells and whistles. I like tech stuff. I've always done that, back in the day when I was a lot younger and first got into, like I said, I had to learn how to use a computer. Uh, I got into it. I actually learned how to build one. And simply from asking questions. Simply from asking questions. It was back in the day when Circuit City and what is it? Egghead and Best Buy, all of those places hired a lot of young guys that were computer science students. They worked in those stores, so they were young, fresh, and learning, and they did not mind sharing information. And I would literally go into the store and ask a question about how to do something on the computer, and they would just tell me the language to write. Put the semicolon slash, put it here, the exact back, all of that stuff. And I would just write it out. You can go in there and you put this in there, put this formula in there, do that, and hit the button and do that and blah. And I write all that stuff down and go in there and open up, go into DOS, because that was when you could get into DOS, and go in there and go into the back and change all that mess around. I would do all of that stuff. And I would, put in hard drives, put in CPUs. I did all that kind of stuff because it was fun to me. I was learning. It was fun to me to go in there. And what it did, it ended up, that's what I'm saying about what kids could do now. That when my sons, they were in school, that's when my sons got interested in computers, because they was watching me, and both of them went to school for computer science after they got out of the military. They went to the military first. And when they got out of the military, they went to college and they went into computer science. And they tell me to this day, it was because of you, Mom, because I like watching you play with the computer and fiddle around with the computer. They would come in my office, and the back would be off that computer all the time, because I'm in there putting stuff in, putting in hard drives, taking all of that kind of stuff. And why? Because somebody at the store told me I could do it. And I would do it. CD-ROMs, all of that stuff. It was back now I couldn't do that stuff now. Everything is more complicated and too micro and all that kind of stuff. But back in the day, I did, and it was a lot of fun. So I do think that because of the technology of our equipment that is coming out now, that we could get more people, more of the younger crowd interested in it, if they could have the experience of getting chance to see some of the bells and whistles of some of the newer equipment that's coming out, how to use it, and what the end result is. Because I can see light bulbs going off, and the first thing they would think about is, how much money can I make doing this? They wouldn't necessarily want to do it as a hobby, I don't think, unless they're like tinkering, like I was doing back then, where I was doing a lot of tinkering. If they like doing that, maybe, but other than that, it they would like being able to do that. And B. Brigman, you said, what did you? I seen that it was coloring the thread as it embroidered. I was like floored. I was like, oh my goodness, you're right. It just blew me away. When I saw that, I thought that was just amazing. And naturally, light bulbs go in your head. Think about what all you could do with that machine. And then reality set in, thinking about, I will never be able to afford that machine. Because I know that machine costs an arm and 17 legs. So, but just the mere fact that it had something that it could do. Carol, you said, we know enough of the basics to truly appreciate the fancy bell of wheel machines and techniques. Exactly. That is exactly what it is. Because, and yes, and they are fun. They are definitely fun. When I see those things at the expo, and I look at it, and I do think about how much fun it would be to operate that machine and what all you could do. And I know that is the main reason why I got my brother machine, because when I was looking for when I was looking for a multi-needle machine, I definitely had a price range budget, but I also was interested in what the machine can do. And then when I read the brochure of everything that machine could do, my mind was made up. I looked at a couple of other machines, and they did have larger hoops. And every now and then I kind of wish I had gotten it because I love a big hoop. But I am not disappointed at all with my machine, because I am so happy with the bells and whistles and the things that it can do. And I know, even though that I have tinkered with it enough where I can do some extra stuff, I'm still not touching the surface. And I tell people all the time, just like I try to express, to read your manual. There's a playbook that you can get that's for the 1055X. Now I don't know if what is it, the 1060 whatever that thing is, the new one. I don't know if it's a playbook that's going to come out with that machine or not. I haven't heard anybody say that machine, the Brother 1060, is not that more advanced than the 1055X. I'm assuming they're going to stop making the 1055X and go straight to the 60, but it's not that big of a change. So if you have the old book, it might work well. But what that book does, that playbook, it helps you to learn what the machine is capable of doing. And when you get that and look at what it's capable of doing, you are amazed at all that it does, that we don't even use it for. We use it to just, you know, stitch here, stitch there, and move on. But it does a lot of stuff that you can do that makes it even fun. If you have your luminaire, your stellaire, or if you have the Baby Lock Solaris, the Baby Lock Radiance, the app, the brother, what is the new one? Avenir. Those high grade machines. That's why they're so expensive. Those machines do everything. LP, you said, what is the playbook and is it online to purchase? Well, the 1050 was online to purchase because my girlfriend bought one and I told her about the 1055X. The 1055X playbook had to be purchased via your brother dealer. Now that they've come out with the 1060, I have no idea what you can do, or even if you can get the playbook. But give me a minute. It's over. My playbook should be over here. Okay. This is the Brother Playbook. Let me take this down. This is the Brothers Entrepreneur Pro 1055X Playbook. I bought this book separate from my machine, and it's not cheap. This book cost me over $200. That's what they sold back then. B. Brigman says more sewing has the 1055X Playbook. Don't know what it costs. It comes with a little thing that looks like a credit card, but it's actually a USB. See, it goes into your computer. The 1055X does have some videos on the machine itself, but the videos have no words. They don't say a word, they just do stuff and you look at it. This little thing has, I want to say 20 or 30 videos where there's, oh my God, sorry. Oh, B. Brigman said $514. Lord help him. When I bought my book, I bought my book from my dealer that sold me my machine, and I bought this book. I said within a month or so, I'll be buying the machine, and she told me she was selling it to me for a bargain, and I think it was $200 or $300, but it was high. It was not cheap, and I was shocked, and especially when she said she was selling it to me on a discounted price because I had just bought my machine. Now, I had no idea that it was $514 or even if it continued to be that high. It shouldn't be. It should not be. And I would not, you need to negotiate that price. But anyway, is it worth, am I glad I bought my book? Yes, I am. I'm extremely happy because it has the whole purpose of the book is to show you how to use every icon on your machine. Everything that your machine can do, they show you a video of a person, a human being, making a project and walking you through it step by step by step by step, how to do particular projects with your machine. It says this book is a collection of step-by-step instructional projects designed to help you learn the time-saving features of this machine. The exercises are independent of each other and can be done at your leisure in whatever order you choose. You are the driver's seat. It is on the USB drive, and it contains 35 videos that go along with the written project. Although these videos can be viewed from your machine, I wouldn't do that. We suggest that you watch from your computer so that you can do the steps as you go. And they say, have fun learning your machine. Be prepared to unlock your hidden creative potentials. And we certainly hope you will be inspired by making something uniquely yours. And it goes on and on and on. And it shows you how to do 35 different projects that will allow you to learn how to use your machine. Now, Carol, your price, Sewing Parts Online has it for $329.99. That sounds a lot more sensible because I have to tell you, I bought mine in 2020 or 2021 whenever I got my 10 needle. I think I got it in 21. I don't remember, but between those two, I paid somewhere between $200 and $300. Cannot remember. I know I didn't pay $500 for it. And when I bought it, they said it was a discounted price. And again, for me, I did not regret the purchase because going through this book and looking at the video, I learned how to use my machine. Things that people don't routinely do. I learned how to do that, and I still reference my machine. My girlfriend that has the 1050, uh, when I met uh, on Eve's channel, she had bought her machine, and she told me she had not used her machine because, again, she didn't know how to use it. She didn't know how to do much of anything on the machine. And I told her about the playbook. And I said, check and see if you can find one for your machine, because every model has different things on it. They're similar, but they're not identical. So my playbook was not going to help her. She was able to find a playbook for the 1050, I think, online for like $75. So that's good. Now, the 1055X playbook should be coming down since they got the 1060 out. I don't know. But when she got that playbook and started using it, she started using her machine. And she has told me several times, had it not been for me telling her about that playbook and her getting the playbook, she never would have learned how to use her machine. She never would have learned how to use her machine. B. Brigham said she almost fell out. Me too. I'm like, $514. Oh my goodness. But and I'm not pushing it. I'm not recommending it. I'm not saying anything, because everybody got to make up their own mind and spend your own money the way you do. For me personally, I bought it because I wanted to know how to use my machine and do everything for it. And I bought it and I don't regret it because it was helpful to me. It was extremely helpful. And I'm glad. I do not regret the purchase at all. So would I have loved to have spent less money? Sure. But I didn't. So it is what it is. I bought the book, and again, I haven't regretted. Now, if you're pretty comfortable with your machine and everything, then and lots of that stuff is in the manual. But again, the manual is the manual. You're going to get stuff in there. If you can read techno stuff, it's going to work out fine. But with the playbook, we are visual learners, right? This woman is doing everything. You see her do it. You see her hoop it, put it in the machine, turn the machine on, push the button. You see all of that. She shows you what button to push and why she's pushing it, and what the end result is going to be. So you get a chance to see an instructional video with the different projects. And because you own it, you can watch it over and over and over and over again. If you forget about how to do it because you haven't done it in a while, like me, you can pull it out, look at it, and then go from there. So that is what I liked about it, because it has the design center on there that does a whole lot of stuff that most of us don't use. The design center, which is a digitizing software built into our machine, where we can do and create projects and everything within the machine, on the machine itself, without like a Embroidery or something like that. You can do that on your machine. You can create mug rugs, did it. You can create all kinds of designs. You get a scanning board where you can scan in drawings, all of that stuff. And that book shows you how to do all that. So it's so much that you can learn how to do by using that book. But again, like I said, it's not cheap. It's expensive. And, don't go around saying Shirley told me to get that book, because I'm not telling you to get the book. I'm just telling you I bought it. I like it. I don't regret having it. And I think it's worth every penny for me that I paid. So, but it's bells and whistles. That's another thing that could probably encourage your younger counterpart, if you can get them into your studio and get them on your machine, whether it's a 10 needle, or even if you have one of these more technical advanced sewing machines where they can actually see what it does simply by pushing the button. They may become more interested in learning how to do something and don't see it so much as a grandma's hobby type situation, and let them make some of their cool clothes and different stuff, because people, these young people love patches. Let them know they can make patches. They can make their own individualized patch that the way they want it, to say what they wanted to say, the color they wanted, all of that kind of stuff. You don't have to go looking to see if somebody has a patch that you like. You make your own patches. I got a coat full of patches, and I'm getting ready to do another one. And I'm putting my own sayings, what I want on those patches and stuff, and creating it just for me. So that's something that they can do. They can personalize their stuff. So, that's one way of getting them interested in it, the technology and creativity and the digital age. That's what's going to get our young people interested in um, embroidery or any of the other crafting that we do. They mentioned hosting a stitch and sip night with coffee and mocktail or some type of fun atmosphere. That would be for maybe, the younger crowd of adults, the 30, 40 years old, you know, adults. Offer short beginner workshops for those that may be interested in it. Share quick videos on TikTok. They love TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. Their attention span is so short, that's about all they're gonna be able to sit down and watch. But that's one way of getting them interested, especially if you put a TikTok uh, video out making something a cool patch. Whatever the latest and greatest stuff is out now, because I don't know. I'm not around a bunch of young people anymore, so I don't know. But if you are, maybe you can do that. Create intergenerational challenges. Grandma and me stitch offs, or teach a teen to do a stitch of the month, if you can get them in there. Let's show them embroidery isn't old fashioned. It's a form of art, storytelling, and self expression that's timeless, which it is. So, again, if we make something or show them how to make something that they can relate to, some of that anime stuff that they like, they have designs and stuff out like that. Or you can get a digitizer to digitize some anime or something like that and do stuff that they like. You might get them interested in wanting to know, well, how did you do that? Let me see, let me try, that kind of stuff. Um, and I'm calling out to people that may be watching, or people that are watching that know people that are under 40, to join us. Borrow a machine, ask questions, visit a local embroidery group, or just start a small in the hoop project, but ask. You don't want this process to die off with the people in our age category, because it's not going to, really, with all of the technology that's out there. And we're finding out more men are getting involved. More men, which is really great, are getting involved. But we can step it up as well. Um, as far as us seniors and our senior stitchers, those that have been stitching for a while, we have a treasure chest of knowledge that we can pass on and share. I'm more than willing to teach a child, a neighbor, anyone what I know, share stories, share tips, share my passion, any of those things. I'm willing to do that. I'm sure you guys are willing to do that as well, because I would love to know for a fact that people are getting the full benefit of what embroidery does for the person. And when I say embroidery, I'm not just talking only embroidery, but anything in the crafting industry that we do, because a lot of us do a whole lot of stuff besides just embroidery that people can become interested in. I become interested in stuff because if I look at it, it looks neat. If it looks cool, if it looks pretty. Now, I won't do everything because one, I don't have the talent for it, and two, I don't have the time for it, and three, if it looks like I'm gonna make a mess out of it, then I won't try it, or if it gets too expensive. But it doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate the art because, perfect example, hand embroidery. I don't know how to do it. I will never learn how to do it. Why? Because I don't really have the interest or the desire to learn. That's just something I don't want to put on my plate. But I love the look. I absolutely love the look. It is gorgeous to me. I love the 3D effect. Anything that has texture to it and the 3D effect is just absolutely gorgeous to me. That could be something that could bring in a younger person to teach them how to hand embroider. Now I know that's going to take some time, but sit them down, get them away from the phone and all of that, and do something creative and look at your own handiwork. When I look around at the things that I have made, sometimes it amazes me that I was able to produce something that pretty. And that if I see something that I wear or somebody else is wearing that I made or somebody else made, and you look at it and you get compliments, people say, "Oh my gosh, did you do that? Did you do that? Did you make that? That is so pretty." That feels good. It really does feel good to know that people do appreciate stuff that's pretty. And not today, there was a worker came into our home today because of something broke, and he happened to see this room with my machine on, and I was getting ready to go to work, and he came out there and stopped me, and he said, "Do you sew?" And I said, "Well, a little bit, but I'm more of an embroiderer." "Oh, I might have some business for you because this, that, and the other, and so forth and so on." And he mentioned that he had a relative of somebody that wanted a memory pillow. And I was like, he said, "Well, the person died and they wanted to take this and make, I saw they want a memory pillow." "Yeah, yeah, that's what they want." And it's like, you never know. You never know who this person came to me, ran into me, coming into my home. You never know when you run into people. They know the stuff is out there. They just don't know where to look for to get it. And to be able, we all know how personal a memory pillow is. You can't go to the store and buy that. Somebody has to make that for you. You don't want to go on the Etsy per se and send your stuff to them and you don't know these people. If you can come up with a face-to-face or somebody like that that you could trust to share your stuff with, because you can't get that back. If Daddy John wore this shirt and I sent it away and I never get it back, I can't get another shirt that Daddy John wore because he ain't here no more. So, things like that is very precious and important. And so we have value. We can do stuff. Ways to use your embroidery for good, which we all pretty much know. We probably have all done some of this. And this is just another way of being involved in the community and having wellness passed on. Create community service projects, baby blankets for the hospitals, fidget quilts for all Alzheimer patients, prayer cloths, pet bandanas for rescues, or comfort pillows. I was looking at a news segment a few days ago, and it was this young man. I remember hearing about him a few years back, but he started this business, make sewing bow ties for pets at rescue centers. So when they get adopted, they have on a cute little bow tie. That young man is going to Morehouse right now. And his business has boomed to the point where he can outsource it now, because he said he won't have time to do it manually himself because he want to concentrate his time on his studies. But he has made enough money with something that he started, I think, when he was like 11. or something years old. Now he's at Morehouse making bow ties on a little sewing machine for pets so they can be groomed up when they're adopted. I thought that was so cool. And he was on the news. There's partnerships with local organizations like your school and teach sewing clubs, libraries, craft night, host a craft night at a library, or even a shelter, a women's center shelter, and donate some skill and some teaching. There are people out there still looking for people that can help, because I've had people approach me about doing some type of volunteer time for youth on how to sew or anything, because they're trying to keep kids out of trouble. They're trying to give them something to learn, to do that's going to be productive for them and interesting. So, if we put forth the effort, I'm sure we could find things. And that's another way of being able to reach the youth, young people, especially reaching out to the schools and the libraries and the shelters. That's an excellent way of reaching out. They don't have to be related, but I'm sure something like that, you would find people that would be interested in it, because I'm thinking, especially like a shelter or something, people would think about, one, is something that I can use, and two, maybe I can learn this skill and make money and get myself in a better position, which is possible, which is possible. Also, it's mentioned about online collaborations where you can join or start a charity stitch along. You can offer free designs and patterns and stuff if you're you have the capability of doing that. Or you could collaborate across states and countries, one stitch at a time, which is very much like what's going on with my Zoom group that we meet on Wednesday night, because most of us are all in different states. Nobody that's on my Zoom currently is I think one person joined us in Missouri, but it's people in Texas, California, New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia. One lady is in South Carolina, all on the Zoom that where we meet on Wednesday night. We're all over the place. We are all over the place. And it's a camaraderie. It's a friendship. Jenny said, Texas in the house. Becky's here. Texas in the house. Robin's here. Maryland's in the house. Danielle and Deborah's here. Virginia's in the house. We got people that are all over. All over. Val, Pennsylvania's in the house. So again, like I said, there's people all over that participate in the Zoom. And I mean, we get together on our little Zoom on Wednesday night. And we got Delaware on here. We got who else? We got Montana. We got Delaware. We got North Carolina. Yeah, put it in here where you're from. Because I know there's people all over the place that even watches here. And that's, I've had people, I don't know if I've had the opportunity to speak with them. When I check my analytics, I have people in different Australia. Oh my God, where else was it? UK. I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And ATB said, can anyone join the Zoom and how do you participate? The participation, which you say you have no machine or anything, we got together 2 years ago to make a light project. We were talking on my live one night and discovered it was several of us, and I mean at least 6, 7, 8 of us that had bought the exact same design from Design by Juju to make this big Christmas tree skirt, but none of us had done it. So we decided we were going to get together as a group, and I said we can do it through Zoom, and work together and put together our own individual skirt. But we're working together and helping each other. That's how it started in October of 23, 4, 23. It's been 2 years. And that's how it started. So to participate is come on Wednesday night from 7 to whenever, 7 o'clock Eastern time. And because I used to live in Maryland, so it was Eastern time when we started. But we like for you to participate in making whatever the group decides to make. We get together, we vote on it, and make a decision what we're going to make as a group. We've done the Christmas skirt, we've done quilts, we've done jean bags, we've done wall hangings, uh, just a bunch of stuff we've done. And we do a review when we're done. We'll set a start date and an end date, and then the end date, I make the announcement. We're going to show the audience what we've made, and that's what we do. And the purpose of it is twofold. Number one is um, learning how to make something that you've never done before, or you want to learn how to do. We want it to be challenging. We want it to be something that we're going to learn how to do as a group. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you could not have ever done, because we made quilts. A lot of people in there had made quilts, but then there was a lot of people in there that had not. So we decided we were going to do quilts. So with the ones that knew how to do quilts, help the ones that don't know how to do quilts. We did, like none of us had done the Christmas tree skirt before. So that really was a challenge and everything. We had 45 hoopings and all of that. So that's what we do. So that's how you participate. To join, all I need, I give you my email address and you email me your phone number. Then I text you with the passcode to come in, and bam, you in. Want to be in there, you're in there. And but we do like for you to participate. We like for you, nobody has to stay. Uh we don't have any strict rules where you miss 2 days, you out and all that none of that. It's a friendship, camaraderie, supportive group. So far as all women, all over the place, all different skill levels. We have anywhere from single needle machines to multi needle machines. Some of us have one or two machines. Some of us have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 machines. It just depends on what you do. Some of us have only been doing it a few years, and some of us have been doing it 30 some odd years. So we're all over the place, but that's just what we've done. So ATB, you're upper state, South Carolina for 4 years now, but you're originally from Chicago. Okay. And B Brigham tried to join but had family illness. That's fine. We understand all of that. Uh yeah, Robin saying the number and everything is the same. So whenever you can come back, you don't need to send a new request. If you still got the number, Brigham, just come on. Like I said, once you join, we don't kick you out. You're still a member until you say you don't want to be bothered anymore. So, that's just the way it is. Just come on. You got the number to dial in. Just dial in. 7 o'clock Eastern time. The number has not changed. The passcode and the ID has not changed. So you have it. So, uh, oh, you don't have it. Okay. Do you have my email address? Because if you do, because I'm not sure I still have your number in here. Oh, you did send me some. Okay, good. I'll send you the information. I just saw it. I'll send you the passcode and all of that stuff. So I'll send it to you. No big deal. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, AT Marketing. You say you're a salesperson. What do you sell if you don't mind sharing that information? Because I do appreciate all of your input and everything, and you're into marketing, which is, I'm not into marketing, but I was a salesperson for almost 20 years. When I worked for Merck, I was a pharmaceutical sales rep, and I loved it, loved it, loved it. And I'm a registered nurse by training, education. One question that I'd like to ask as we're wrapping up here: what, if anybody just chime in, because I just wanted to know what project, because I think I may have asked this question before, but what's one project that made your heart feel full that you made, whether you sold it, gave it away, made it for yourself, or whatever? And Brigman, you say you're looking for a good source for tulip pink fabrics and cake layers. I just saw something about tulip pink fabric. I can't answer that question. Maybe somebody else, excuse me, can. Did you Google? My son tells me all the time, Google is your friend. Every time I ask a question, and he would ask me, did you Google? Google is your friend, Mom. So I'm learning more and more to Google first. So usually you can find an answer of whatever it is that you're looking for. Usually, not always, but usually if you do Google. So this is pretty much the end of this series that we did it for 6 weeks. And thank you guys for participating, coming, following, and all of that. So now I got to come up with another list of things of to talk about. So does anybody have anything that they're interested in that they want us to be talking about? So ATB Marketing, you work with business. I help them grow their business through promotional products. I offer embroidery, screen printing, DTF services, and signs and print like business card banners, yards, and signs. You work with big businesses or individual businesses. Anybody on here that's interested in your service or anything, do you help them? And she does have a website that has more services and products that she offers. Now, I am in the process of looking into other topics. I was thinking briefly and thought it through based upon some of the stuff I was reading up on tonight about having I don't want to say a weekly, but maybe a monthly sew along where we could get together, probably via a Zoom, or maybe a live stream. Like I said, I hadn't really thought it through yet, just popped in my mind. Where when I say sew along, that would be I'm sewing and you're sewing, and we're doing the same thing. We're making something similar to what we do on our Zoom, but our Zoom is a weekly thing that we do. This is something that I'm thinking about because I don't think I have enough time to dedicate on a weekly thing like that, but just kind of opening it up for a larger crowd of people that might want to do something they've never done before. And it kind of crossed my mind because I know it's interesting to know of some of the things that people have never done before. Like I've never done a cap before. I've never done freestanding lace before. I've never done a screen embroidery before. Different things that I've never stitched on a towel before, or a hoodie before, or I've never made a mug rug or something like that. It's interesting to think about stuff that people, you would think all of those things people have done, and you realize they've not done before. And I said, well, maybe a once a month sew along that is opened up for anybody, like, you know, think about it, mull it over, and come back with some suggestions, or go on my website, on my, not my website, on my channel, and put in suggestion or something. It was just like something that popped in my head about a monthly sew along. And Brigman said, or maybe a monthly show and tell. Well, the show and tell would be part of the sew along, because if we sew it together, then we will show the end result, because I would want it to be something that we could complete in one night. It's not like a big huge project that's going to take days and days to do. Something that is kind of quick and simple that we can do in a a couple of hours or so, and just get your feet wet, get a chance to say, oh, I got a chance to do this, I got a chance to do that. I didn't think I could do it, but it's easier than I thought. Puff a puff design, using the puff material and stuff that people's never done. Rebecca McGinnis, how you doing? Embroider a tee with a picture of my sweet puppy on it. That would take a longer time, but yes, it depends upon how intense the design is. Because yeah, I'm going to get one digitized so I can do that as well. I'm going to use Fossil to digitize. I had it one digitized before, but I didn't like the way it came out. So I'm going to have that redone. But that's a good idea. Uh, And Brigham said, also, you could send out a supply list in advance of what yeah. If we decide to do a monthly sew along, that's exactly what we would do. We would decide upon what that monthly sew along is, the date that we're going to do it, and what the project is. Therefore, you'll know what materials you'll need. And we'll probably have an approximate amount of time, how long it's going to take to do it. And when I say approximately, I'm not one of these people that say, oh, you can do it in 30 minutes, you can do it in, no, because I know how it goes. They'll tell you something takes 30 minutes and it takes you an hour and a half when you do when I do it. So I wouldn't necessarily say that, but how many stitches and all of that kind of stuff would be included in the information. And but that's just a thought. Like I said, go on to Shirley's thread work, put some information in the comment, what your thoughts are, what your suggestions are. what you think about it, if you're interested in it, and then then I'll bring it up again until we finalize and say yes, we're going to do it, or no, we're not going to do it. And to be honest about it, even if we decide to do it, it may not even start until after the first of the year. And I'm going to say why, because I'm pretty sure all of us are busy or will be busy very soon working on our holiday, whatever we're going to do. And that normally takes up a lot of time. So, I don't want to add another project on top of the projects we already have that may stress people out. I didn't get the full uh, date as to when Jeanette's uh, Efster show and tell is going to start, but I know she said something about this month. So I'm pretty sure she's going to put that out because she's going to have her Christmas thing. And I don't know if I'm gonna participate this Christmas or not. I have to think about it. But nonetheless, I know people do participate, so that's another um, project on top of what you may already be doing. Uh, yeah, Brigman said you've seen the Tulip Pink on OESD. I saw that not too long ago, and I cannot remember where I saw it. It's making me want to do some of those for holidays. Okay. And Creative Notion, that's true. Next year will be great. Yeah, I know that would be okay. I got you, Robin. No big deal. But yeah, I was thinking about it when as I was speaking. And I said, okay, this is October, November, December. Christmas is right around the corner. And I know I've already started working on gifts. So I know people are going to be working on gifts. And if you sell anything, you'll be working on your gifts and your selling stuff. So I know from this point up until the end of the year, it's going to be very busy for most people. So I don't want to add another project on top of that. But I'm just throwing that out because it's something that I'm interested in, and hope other people are interested in it, because I think a monthly sew along would be a lot of fun. We could open up the door to more people, and the main purpose of it, to be honest about it, is to get people to start doing stuff that they've been procrastinating about doing. I've not done, and I mean, to me, some of the things sound simple, but they weren't simple until I learned how to do it. So I know, some people have never done an applique before. And like I said, freestanding lace, little things, like, to me, those are little things since I've done them before, but they're not necessarily little to you because obviously you haven't done it. And Carol said, you are making me want to retire. You do know I went back to work, don't you, Carol? I was retired and I had more time. Now I don't. And I only work 2.5 days a week. But I tell you, you would think I'm working 5 days, 6, 7 days a week sometimes. I come home and I am so broke down and tired and worn out. And trust and believe me, I'm not doing anything physical. I'm not. I wouldn't have taken the job if it was going to be a physical job. I'm at a desk 90% of the time, on the computer, on the phone, all of that kind of stuff, talking to people and what have you. But that gets to be busy, it can get kind of hectic sometimes. And yeah. And getting up, my thing is getting up early. If I didn't have to get up so early, I don't think I'd be so tired. But I get up. I don't like that part. Carol just said, spend more money. Just want to spend more money when you retire. Yeah, for some reason you do. And Jenny, you want to retire too. Tell me, I want to retire again. That's what I want to do. And I got to figure out, okay, now I've come back to work. How long am I going to work before I retire again? That's what I got to figure out. Because this ain't going to be forever. But I'll do it for a little while. I'm helping my friend out, so I'll do it for a little while. But it ain't going to be forever. Okay. Do not forget to give me a thumbs up, please. Do not forget to hit the notification bell. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. It does not cost you anything. Also, I do want to remind everybody that I do have a membership uh, tier. I have, what is it, 4 tiers of membership. And if we do this show and tell thing, I may incorporate that into the membership situation. I'm just thinking off the top of my head right now, but uh, you can join if you hit the join button on my YouTube channel. I have a video on there that tells you all about the different tiers and the different perks and what have you. And of course, as always, super chats and all of those stuffs are available as well. All of these things helps my channel to grow. And that's the name of the game. It makes me be able to improve on things, get some of the equipment that I may need, and all of that kind of stuff. So keep all of that stuff in mind. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close out and say good night to everybody. Thank you for coming by. I do appreciate it. You all have a wonderfully blessed rest of your week. And I will see you next Tuesday, hopefully with something great and exciting that you'll be very interested in. And do think about the monthly sew along. Go onto my YouTube site, and I do have a Facebook group as well called Shirley's Thread Work Group, I believe is the name of it. Either one of those will work, where you can go on there and just put in there what your comments are, your thoughts, your process, all of that. And with that, I'm going to say good night. You guys take care. Bye-bye.